The story of Ayub, commonly called Job in English, is a story about a man whose covering has been removed. The covering, which we know as the Takash, a word that means the covenant covering of the divine crown. This is a prophecy of man in the last days, when the mark removes the covering and places the Nakastin, the abomination that lays waste, the filth that removes the covering that is on man and replaces it with the serpent's covering. The story of Ayub shows the importance of the covering that Yahuah has on his people, and just how naked you are without it. The name Ayub shows this covering. The name Ayub contains the letters Aleph, Yod, Uah, and Beit. The letter Aleph is a picture of an ox. It means bull, strength, leader, the Almighty, being yoked, first, headship, authority, tame, and gentle. Yahuah is first, and he is our strong leader. Yod is a picture of a hand. It means arm, work, throw, worship, a deed, a finished work, flame, judgment, or the right hand of Yahuah. Uah is a picture of a tent post. It means nail, add, hook, to connect, secure, Messiah connecting us to Yahuah, a bridge, and man, because man was made on the sixth day. The letter Beit is a picture of a floor plan of a tent. It means house, within, inside, the body, because the house of Yahuah is within. The name Ayub means Yahuah's hand on man's tent. This is exactly what this story and prophecy is all about. Job 1:6. And the day came to be that the sons of Elohim came to present themselves before Yahuah, and Satan also came among them. And Yahuah said to Satan, "From where do you come?" And Satan answered Yahuah and said, "From diligently searching in the earth, and from walking up and down in it." And Yahuah said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Ayub, that there is none like him on the earth, a perfect and straight man, one who fears Elohim and turns aside from evil?" And Satan answered Yahuah and said, "Is Ayub fearing Elohim for naught? Have you not made a hedge around him, and around his household, and around all that he has on every side? You have blessed the work of his hands, and his possessions have increased in the land." The word in this passage for hedge is Hebrew Strong's 7753, suk, which means a hedge or fence up or about. This word is made up of the letters Shin, Uah, and Kaf. Shin is a picture of teeth. It means destroy, fire, cut, consume, sacrifice, eat, tree of life, the path between the law and his mercy and grace, divine power, press, and crown. Uah is a picture of a tent post. It means nail, add, hook, to connect, secure, Messiah connecting us to Yahuah, bridge, and man. And the last letter, Kaf, is a picture of the palm of a hand. It means to open, subdue, bend, curve, cupped hand, waiting on a blessing, like, as, according to, open, allow, and tame. This word has the meaning of the divine power on man by the hand of Yahuah. This hedge can be a negative thing if you are against the ways of the Father, as in Hosea, commonly called Hosea, chapter 2, verse 6. Therefore see, I am hedging up your way with thorns, and I shall wall her in, so that she does not find her paths. The word for thorns in this passage is Hebrew Strong's 55:18, seer, which means a cauldron, a pot, or a washing pot. It is used as a sign of desolation in Yeshayahu, Isaiah 34:13. The word is made up of Samach, Yod, and Resh. Samach has the meaning of eternity. Yod has a meaning of judgment. And of course, Resh has the meaning of wicked. This meaning of thorn is eternal judgment of the wicked. In Ayub's case, Yahuah had a hedge of protection on him of love. And just like in the garden, Hashatan wants to remove that protection and leave man naked, just as he left Eve and Adam. Ayub 1:11. But stretch out your hand, please, and strike all that he has, if he would not curse you to your face. Notice how Hashatan uses the word please when referring to Yahuah. And Yahuah said to Satan, see, all that he has is in your hand. Only do not lay a hand on himself. And Satan went out from the presence of Yahuah. And the day came to be when his sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in the house of their brother, the firstborn. And a messenger came to Ayub and said, the oxen were plowing and the donkeys feeding alongside them, when Sheba fell upon them and took them away, and they struck the servants with the edge of the sword, and I alone have escaped to inform you. While he was still speaking, another also came and said, the fire of Elohim fell from the heavens and burned up the sheep and the servants and consumed them, and I alone have escaped to inform you. While he was still speaking, another also came and said, the Casdim formed 3 bands and made a raid on the camels and took them away, and they struck the servants with the edge of the sword, and I alone have escaped to inform you. While he was still speaking, another also came and said, your sons and your daughters were eating and drinking wine in the house of their brother, the firstborn, and see, a great wind came from the wilderness and struck the 4 corners of the house, and it fell on the young men, and they are dead, and I alone have escaped to inform you. Then Ayub rose up and tore his robe and shaved his head, and he fell to the ground and did obeisance. And he said, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I returned there. Yahuah has given, and Yahuah has taken away. Blessed be the name of Yahuah. In all this, Ayub did not sin nor ascribe wrongdoing unto Elohim. Notice how he says, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I returned there. When the covering of Yahuah is removed from you, you become naked. Ayub chapter 2 verse 1. Again the day came to be that the sons of Elohim came to present themselves before Yahuah, and Satan also came among them to present himself before Yahuah. And Yahuah said to Satan, from where do you come? And Satan answered Yahuah and said, from diligently searching in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And Yahuah said to Satan, have you considered my servant Ayub, that there is none like him on the earth, a perfect and straight man, one who fears Elohim and turns aside from evil? And still he holds fast to his integrity, although you incited me against him to destroy him without cause. And Satan answered Yahuah and said, skin for skin, and all that a man has he would give for his life. But stretch out your hand, please, and strike his bone and his flesh, if he would not curse you to your face. And Yahuah said to Satan, see, he is in your hand, only spare his life. And Satan went out from the presence of Yahuah and struck Ayub with loathsome sores from the sole of his foot to the crown of his head. And he took a potsherd with which to scrape himself while he sat in the midst of the ashes. And his wife said to him, "Do you still hold fast to your integrity? Curse Elohim and die." But he said to her, "You speak as one of the foolish women speak. Indeed, should we accept only good from Elohim and not accept the evil?" In all this, Ayub did not sin with his lips. Without the covering of Yahuah, man is naked and helpless against the wiles of the devil. Corinthian bet, 2 Corinthians 5:1. For we know that if the tent of our earthly house is destroyed, we have a building from Elohim, a house not made with hands, everlasting in the heavens. For indeed in this we groan, longing to put on our dwelling which is from heaven, so that having put it on, we shall not be found naked. Ayub 18:3. Why should we be reckoned as beasts, as stupid in your eyes? You who tear yourself to pieces in displeasure, will the earth be forsaken for your sake, or the rock moved from its place? Indeed, the light of the wrong goes out, and the flame of his fire does not shine. The light shall be dark in his tent, and his lamp beside him is put out. Matthew 6:22. The lamp of the body is the eye. If therefore your eye is good, all your body shall be enlightened. But if your eye is evil, all your body shall be darkened. If then the light that is within you is darkness, how great is that darkness? Ayub 18:7. The steps of his strength are impeded, and his own counsel overthrows him. For he is sent into a net by his own feet, and he walks on a pitfall. Just as in the book of Daniel, man has rolled up his sleeve and walked into a pitfall. Daniel 11:31. And the shoulders Zeroah, they will set forth Amad. On the account of him, men, they shall pierce by implication to wound. Halal, the set apart place, Mikdash. They shall remove Sur, the constant, Tamid, the covering, Ma'az, and they shall deliver Natan, the abominable filth, Sikkus, that makes desolate, Samin. Ayub 18:9. The net seizes his heel, and a snare prevails over him. A noose is hidden on the ground for him, and a trap for him in the path. Alarms frighten him on all sides, and they chase him at his heels. His strength is starved, and his calamity is ready at his side. It devours parts of his skin. The firstborn of death devours his parts. Revelation 16:1. And I heard a loud voice from the dwelling place, saying to the 7 messengers, Go and pour out the bowls of the wrath of Elohim on the earth. And the first went and poured out his bowl upon the earth. And an evil and wicked sore came upon the men, those having the mark of the beast, and those worshipping his image. Ayub 18:14. He is torn from the shelter of his tent, and they parade him before the sovereign of terrors. In his tent dwells that which is none of his. Brimstone is scattered on his house. Matthew 12:43. Now when the unclean spirit goes out of a man, he goes through dry places seeking rest and finds none. Then it says, I shall return to my house from which I came. And when it comes, it finds it empty, swept, and decorated. Then it goes and takes with it 7 other spirits more wicked than itself, and they enter and dwell there, and the last of that man is worse than the first. So shall it be with this wicked generation. Ayub 18:18. They thrust him from light into darkness and chase him out of the world. Kason, Revelation 18:23. And the light of the lamp shall not shine in you any more at all, and the voice of bridegroom and bride shall not be heard in you any more at all. For your merchants were the great ones of the earth, for by your drug sorcery all the nations were led astray. Ayub 18:19. He leaves no offspring or descendant among his people, nor any survivor in his dwellings. Those in the west are astonished at his day, as those in the east are frightened. Indeed, such are the dwellings of the perverse, and this is the place of him who does not know El. Yochanan John 5:28. Do not marvel at this, because the hour is coming in which all those in the tombs shall hear his voice, and shall come forth, those who have done good to the resurrection of High, and those who have practiced evil matters to a resurrection of judgment. Thorn. Ayub 42:4. Listen, please, and let me speak. I ask you, then would you make it known to me? I have heard of you by the hearing of the ear, but now my eye sees you. Therefore I despise myself and repent in dust and ashes. Yeshayahu Isaiah 52:6. Therefore my people shall know my name in that day, for I am the one who is speaking. See, it is I. How pleasant upon the mountains are the feet of him who brings good news, who proclaims peace, who brings good news, who proclaims deliverance, who says to Zion, your Elohim reigns. The voice of your watchmen, they lift up their voices. Together they shout for joy, because eye to eye they see the return of Yahuah to Zion. Break forth into joy, sing together, you waste places of Jerusalem, for Yahuah shall comfort his people, he shall redeem Jerusalem. Through all of the evil schemes of the devil, Ayub overcome, and in the end Yahuah blesses him greatly. Ayub, Job 42:12. And Yahuah blessed the latter days of Ayub more than his beginning. For he had 14,000 sheep and 6,000 camels and 1,000 yoke of oxen and 1,000 female donkeys. And he had 7 sons and 3 daughters. And he called the name of the first Yemimah, and the name of the second Ketsiah, and the name of the third Keren Hapuk. Yemimah is Hebrew Strong's 3224. And it means a daughter of Yob. But it means also perhaps the same as Yom, properly warm, affectionate, hence dove. The second daughter, Ketsiah, is Hebrew Strong's 7103, which is Cassia, a daughter of Yob. The word is from katsah, which means to scrape off or strip off. The third daughter is Keren Hapuk. Keren Hapuk is Hebrew Strong 7163. It means a horn of antimony, a daughter of Job. The word means also a beautifier. It comes from 2 Hebrew words, 7161 Karen, which is a horn, but it also comes from the word Karan, a horn as projecting by implication, a flask, a cornet, an elephant's tooth, a corner of the altar, a peak of a mountain, a ray of light, figuratively power. And the last word is Hebrew Strong 6320, Puk. Puk means antimony or stibium. It means fair colors, glistering, painted, from an unused root meaning to paint, dye, specifically stibium for the eyes, fair colors, glistering, painted, or painting. These women's names paint a picture of the bride to come at the end of days. By his great affection, this corruptibility will be stripped off, and by the power of the ray of his light, the bride will glisten. Yochanan Aleph, 1 John 3:1. See what love the Father has given us, that we should be called children of Elohim. For this reason the world does not know us, because it did not know him. Beloved ones, now we are children of Elohim, and it has not been revealed what we shall be. But we know that when he is revealed, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. Corinthian Aleph, 1 Corinthians 15:52. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible has to put on incorruption, and this mortal to put on immortality. And when this corruptible has put on incorruption, and this mortal has put on immortality, then shall come to be the word that has been written, Death is swallowed up in overcoming. O death, where is your sting? O Sheol, where is your overcoming? And the sting of death is sin, and the power of the sin is the Torah. But thanks to Elohim, who gives us the overcoming through our Master Yahushua Messiah. Therefore, my beloved brothers, be steadfast, immovable, always excelling in the work of the Master, knowing that your labor is not in vain in the Master. Ayub, overcome to the end. This shows that even the righteous will go through trials, but it is the ones who overcome who will be saved. Kasson, Revelation 21:4. And Elohim shall wipe away every tear from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, nor mourning, nor crying, and there shall be no more pain, for the former matters have passed away. And he who is sitting on the throne said, See, I make all matters new. And he said to me, Write, for these words are true and trustworthy. And he said to me, It is done. I am the Aleph and the Tah, the beginning and the end. To the one who thirsts I shall give of the fountain of the water of life without payment. The one who overcomes shall inherit all this, and I shall be his Elohim, and he shall be my son. But the cowardly and the untrustworthy and the abominable and the murderers and those who whore and drug sorcerers and idolaters and all the false, their part is in the lake which burns with fire and sulfur, which is the second death. And one of the 7 messengers who held the 7 bowls filled with the 7 last plagues came to me and spoke with me, saying, Come, I shall show you the bride, the Lamb's wife. And he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me the great city, the set apart Jerusalem, descending out of the heaven from Elohim, having the esteem of Elohim, and her light was like the most precious stone, like jasper stone, clear as crystal. Clear as crystal, like the word Zak, which means dazzling, glowing, and clear, the righteous covering given to the bride. Ayub, Job 42:16. And after this Ayub lived 140 years, and saw his children and grandchildren for 4 generations. And Ayub died old and satisfied with days. 144. Kasson, Revelation 21:17. And he measured its walls 144 forearms, according to the measure of a man, that is, of a messenger. And the structure of its wall was jasper, and the city was clean gold, like clear glass. Clean gold refined in the fire to be made pure. This is the story of Ayub, the story of Yahuah's hand on man's tent. Thank you all for joining us for the study of Ayub, and we pray that it is a blessing to you in the name of our Adon Yahushua. Shalom.